So, as we have learned about many hardware devices and the sensors and modules, so today we are going to do the comparison between UV sensor and LDR sensor, that is light detection sensor and ultraviolet rays detection sensor. That in simple we can say that sunlight detection sensor. So think of it like the LDR sensor here as LDR sensor is measure. It is used to measure the brightness, and UV sensor is used to measure the ultraviolet rays, that is the light from the sun. So LDR sensor detects the visible light, and UV sensor detects the ultraviolet, that is UV light, and the LDR tells how bright it is. Like it is too bright or less bright. So those calculations will be done using LDR sensor module. But the UV sensor tells how strong the UV radiation is, that is how strong the sunlight is. And this is used for day and night detection, that is the LDR sensor. But whereas the UV sensor is used to for UV index and sunlight monitoring systems. So this is affected by the room lights. The LDR sensor can be affected by room light because it detects every visible light, no matter what it is. Whereas the UV sensor mainly responds to UV light from the sunlight or UV source, like any UV ray emitting module, something like that. So here, the LDR which is light dependent resistor. Think of it like a brightness detector. It asks like, is it bright or dark? When the light increases, the resistance decreases. So that time it can, measure the, or it can get to know that there is light or no light. So for example, like sunlight means there is low resistance, and in the darkness it has the high resistance. So what are the common uses of this module, that is LDR sensor module? Is it is used in automatic street lights and night lamps and light intensity measurements and solar tracking projects. Whereas UV sensor, you can think of it like a sunburn detector. It asks how much UV light is present. UV light is the part of sunlight that can affect our skin. A UV sensor can estimate the UV index, that is ultraviolet index, which tells whether the sunlight is weak or strong. So the common use of the UV sensor is to measure the UV index, and it is used in UV index meters, weather stations, and sun exposure monitoring and environmental monitoring. So what are the real life examples of both the sensors? Is you imagine you go out of the room at noon, that is after 12 p.m., and LDR sensor says it is very bright, whereas the UV sensor says UV level is high, that is UV index 9, wear sunscreen or sunshades. So the LDR measures the brightness, while the UV sensor measures the harmful ultraviolet radiations. So this was the uses of both the sensor modules, that is light dependent resistor and ultraviolet sensor detector. So now, easy way to remember is LDR is high eyes of the project, which sees how bright it is, whereas the UV sensor is a skin. It detects the UV radiation from the sunlight. In one word, we can say that an LDR sensor measures the visible light intensity, that is brightness, and while a UV sensor measures the ultraviolet radiations, which is a part of sunlight that can affect our skin and health. So that is how we use both the modules combined together, and we have now learned the difference between LDR and UV sensor. So the sunlight is also a light, and the room light is also a light. Just the sources are different, but using these sensors we can know those sources and the level of the brightness, and what for it is used also we can know. So that is how we learned about LDR sensor module and UV sensor module. So that's it for now. See you in the next video, Robot Builders.